If dinner is where your whole day seems to fall apart, where you are so good until 6 o'clock and then everything unravels, I want you to know that you are not weak, you are not failing. That nightly unraveling, where you find yourself in the pantry downing an entire bag of potato chips, is actually one of the most predictable things in the body, and it has really nothing to do with discipline. By the time evening arrives, a body that has been underfed and overstressed, probably when it is fed all of the wrong things for what it really needs, when this happens all day, it's biologically primed to overeat. So if you look at it from this perspective, that is not a moral failure, it is physiology. And once you understand it, dinner stops being the moment that you blow it, or let's say even after dinner while you're sitting there maybe watching some TV or continuing to work or whatever that after dinner activity looks like for you can become the moment that you repair. I want you to think of dinner and that evening time as a tool that stabilizes your blood sugar overnight, a tool that calms your stress hormones, that feeds your muscles while you sleep, and sets you up for the entire next day. So this week, instead of dreading dinner and that after dinner time, we're going to use it for us. I'm going to give you 7 dinners, one for each night of the week, all built on the same principle with a repeatable formula so that you can start getting it and create your own dinners moving forward. So let's talk about the formula behind every dinner. Every dinner this week follows the same shape, so you never have to think hard. That's my goal for this. You start with a really good serving of high quality protein because protein helps to steady your blood sugar and it repairs your muscle overnight. You fill the rest of your plate with non-starchy veggies because that's going to be helpful for fiber and fullness. You're going to add a healthy fat to keep you satisfied and to slow your digestion, which is a good thing. And then you finish with something fermented, like a spoon of sauerkraut, maybe a little kimchi, a kefir-based dressing, maybe a pickle. I like Bubby's is my favorite brand. And you're going to do that because that feeds the gut where so much of your metabolic signaling actually happens. We're going to swap out the heavy starch like pasta or bread, for example, for cauliflower rice or zucchini noodles. And we're going to eat a little earlier so that the body has time to settle down before sleep. And when you sleep, it can sleep really deeply and really rest. This is the whole framework. This is the formula. Now let's together for a minute walk through what the week is going to look like. Before we do that, I want to tell you so you really understand why dinner carries so much weight, no pun intended. What you eat in the evening sets the hormonal tone for the 8 to 9 hours, wink, wink, hopefully you sleep 8 to 9 hours, that you spend asleep in your bed. A protein-forward dinner keeps your blood sugar and your insulin steady overnight. That's really important. This is exactly when your body does all of its repair work is overnight. So we want to make sure that we're setting that up for success. A heavy, starchy, pasta, carby, sugary dinner does the opposite. It's going to spike your blood sugar. It's going to keep insulin elevated when you sleep, and it's going to leave you waking up groggy and reaching for sugar by the next mid-morning. When you get dinner right, you don't just improve one evening, you improve the next morning, the next day's cravings, your sleep. You do all of this all at once. That's why the single meal is worth your attention. As a quick side note, as a business owner or as a busy individual who has a lot going on, what sets the next day up for success is like purging your brain and getting all of your schedule written down so you know exactly what you're going to do the next day. This is what I do every evening before I close down my workday, usually around like 4:30 or so. I'm writing down what my next day is going to look like hour by hour, right? So that evening time, that evening organization is what allows the next day to be proactive success rather than a reactive mess. The same thing goes for your dinner meal. Your dinner meal, when you can be proactive and have set standards around it, it's going to set you up for success the next day with your health, with your weight, with your focus. You've probably heard that phrase from Benjamin Franklin that says, if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. Same thing goes here. So we are going to plan those dinner meals. We're going to eat those dinner meals because it helps our body for the following day. Number one, Monday is going to be a beef bowl. You're going to start the week strong with a grass-fed beef or ground turkey bowl. Now, if you can't fit grass-fed beef into your budget and you can do conventional beef, that's totally fine. If you like ground turkey, that's okay. Or if you think ground turkey is super dry and not that tasty, that's coming from my personal feeling around ground turkey. I don't love it, but if you do, fine. But choose whatever you really love and then put it over cauliflower rice. You can saute some zucchini, some mushrooms, onions, build it over the cauliflower rice and top it with some fermented salsa, a little goat cheese, right? This is hearty, it's protein forward. The fermented salsa helps to support the gut. All really great things in this meal. Number two, Tuesday, wild salmon over greens. Tonight, you're gonna have a piece of salmon over a bed of mixed greens, maybe some arugula. If you like roasted Brussels sprouts or maybe some asparagus is a really great type of fiber for the gut. You can dress it up with some extra virgin olive oil. I like first cold pressed extra virgin olive oil, maybe a splash of apple cider vinegar. Add a small side of kimchi, like I'm talking about 1 to 2 tablespoons, really will help the gut. You've got the omega-3s in the salmon to help calm the inflammation that blocks fat loss. You've got vinegar in the dressing that helps to blunt that blood sugar response. This one's, it's light, it's satisfying, it's really nourishing to the body, and it's also a wonderful night to eat a little slower than usual. Fullness signals take time to arrive. So you're gonna eat, if you can, 80% full, and then give your body time, and you're gonna find that that portion probably leaves you feeling pretty satisfied and full. If you still need something after, you could do some bone broth, you could have an herbal tea. If you put a little sprinkling of salt in that herbal tea, it actually increases the sweetness. You could do a bubbly water as long as it doesn't have sugar in it. So those are all great options with this meal. If you have eaten clean dinners like this before and you're like, oh my gosh, I do all of these things and I'm still stuck, then the problem for you is likely not food, and that is the case for the majority of people who we see at PhD Weight Loss. It's usually a metabolism that really needs to be retrained, and that's the work we do every day within PhD. We build you a customized meal plan that takes out all of the guesswork on when and what and how much to eat. We adjust it as your body changes because weight loss is a dynamic process. It's not a static menu, and things need to continue to adjust. If you are ready to stop guessing, if you're ready to create this change, go to myphdweightloss.com, or you can click the link in the description and one of our nutritionists will help you map out the exact right path for you and your body. Number 3, Wednesday is roasted chicken thighs. So what I like to do is I get the raw chicken thighs. I like skin on, my kids like skin on, and sometimes even bone in. And I will spray them with avocado spray oil and salt and pepper, or I like the Celtic sea salt seasoning, or I think the brand is Kinder, and I like their seasoning blends, and I just put that over the top and then put it in the oven at pretty high heat and then turn the heat down after the skin is crunchy. And then usually I will steam green beans. Maybe I'll cook some onions with it, a side salad. I like apple cider vinegar dressing. I add some shallots in there, a little bit of mustard, a tiny bit of honey, and it's a really delicious meal. I like chicken thighs over chicken breasts just because they have more flavor. It's a bit more rich. The green beans are going to bring you fiber. And then if you can add some fermented beets or some fermented veggies in one way or another, it's going to support the gut. And this is the kind of dinner that really leaves you full and steady. It's not going to leave you feeling heavy and sluggish. And if you can, a 10-minute walk after eating this dinner is going to be A+ for you. Number 4, Thursday, let's think meatballs over zucchini noodles. You can put any kind of red meat or white meat, I guess if we call turkey white meat. You can do turkey, bison, ground beef, whatever type of meatball, and you're gonna serve that over zucchini noodles with a no sugar added marinara. You can do a side of asparagus that you cook in avocado oil. Maybe you drizzle olive oil over the top. You know, olive oil is not gonna be good to cook with at high heat temperatures. I prefer either tallow or avocado oil. And then you're gonna get all the comfort that you need of a pasta night without the heavy starch, and you're gonna use zucchini noodles instead. You can get your own zoodler, the spiraler that will make those zucchini noodles for you, or you can buy them pre-spiralized. The key to the zucchini noodle, here it is. Heat up the pan, get it very hot, add some oil in there, and then put the zucchini noodles in and almost fry them. I do not urge you or encourage you to steam them because then they're gonna get really soggy. But if you can cook them and make them a little bit crispy, that's when they're very, very delicious. If you like, sprinkle some Parmesan over the top and you are gonna love it. If this is the first time eating this meal and you try it, drop your thoughts in the comments below. I wanna hear. Number 5, Friday, shrimp stir fry. A quick shrimp stir fry with broccoli, bell peppers, onions, over cauliflower rice. You can finish it with coconut aminos instead of a sugary sauce. I don't love soy sauce because it's got gluten in it, which I personally don't tolerate, and it's just kind of dirty. There's a lot of stuff in soy sauce, so I like coconut aminos better. Shrimp is one of the highest protein, low calorie proteins you can eat out there. It cooks so quickly. I love to make garlic shrimp as well, and what I will do is heat up some avocado oil, put the shrimp in there near the end, which only takes a few minutes, a little bit of butter and garlic and salt. It's so delicious. So let me know how this one goes too. This one's fast, it's colorful, it's metabolically supportive, it's gonna get you into fat burn, you're gonna love it. If you are eating dinner like these already, you're moving your body, and you're still not seeing the belly fat respond, usually what's happening, 2 things, blood sugar and gut health. This is exactly why I created the Belly Fat Reset Bundle. It pairs GlucoCut Plus to help steady blood sugar and help support your muscle mass as you lose fat. Plus, it supports fullness with GLP-1 Gut Longevity Plus to rebuild the gut microbiome that drives so much belly fat and inflammation. Together, they help your metabolism work with you again. You can learn more and find a discount. Use code ASHLEY10 and check out dr.ashleywellness.com, or you can head on into the description and click the link for dr.ashleywellness.com. Again, use code ASHLEY10 to get a special discount. Number 6, Saturday, and you're gonna have steak and mushrooms. You can do grass-fed steak if it fits within your budget. If not, just do a regular steak. If not, do burgers. Add some sauteed mushrooms. I like to use a little bit of tallow with that. I heat it up and then saute mushrooms, garlic, salt, pepper, that's it. I do love to roast cauliflower as well. I always finish it with a little bit of butter. Cauliflower is so good. Sometimes I'll sprinkle the cauliflower, I'll cut it into equal size florets so it all cooks simultaneously at the same speed. I'll put it in the oven at a high temperature, maybe 375. I'll coat the cauliflower with avocado oil, salt, pepper, maybe a little turmeric, and roast it until it's soft. It's really great. And then I also do love arugula, and I'll make an arugula salad. So now you've got your steak or some kind of red meat, some sauteed mushrooms, roasted cauliflower, and a little bit of side salad. A steak with some marbling is delicious, and it is not the enemy of fat loss. The fat keeps you full and satisfied, and remember, that a satisfied body doesn't go hunting through the kitchen at 9 o'clock. It doesn't need pretzels. It doesn't need popcorn. So you're gonna have this delicious dinner and you're gonna enjoy this one real slowly and real mindfully. Sunday is gonna be baked cod with roasted veggies. You're gonna close the week with some baked cod over a tray of roasted non-starchy veggies with maybe a side of some sauerkraut. If you want a starch tonight, it's gonna be a small portion of roasted sweet potato or winter squash. This is one of the most nutrient-dense choices you can make if you want a starchy veggie. Now, cod, I like cod because it's clean, it's lean. I will make cod, let's see, 2 different ways. One is on the grill because sometimes I never like the fishy smell, but sometimes I just really can't handle it. So I put it out on the grill in some aluminum foil usually, especially on the grill if it's really flaky. I don't love cooking in aluminum foil, so I don't do that very often. I'll also bake cod, and if I bake cod, I make it two different ways. One, I will put some chopped tomatoes or even a little salsa on it, but my very favorite way is just butter and salt and pepper. I really do love butter, and I'll stick that in there with some roasted veggies. I will also put some sweet potato in the oven and roast it that way. Sometimes I'm in a huge rush though, and sweet potato takes so long to roast. If you have an Instapot, you can put your sweet potato in, poke some holes in it, cover it with salt. You'll put a tiny bit of water in your Instapot and put that little trivet of a tray down at the bottom. Stick the sweet potato on top and it's done in like 10 minutes. As you go through the week, you're gonna watch for the 3 patterns that quietly undo a good dinner. The first is under eating all day and then arriving at dinner starving. Because if your body is ravenous, it can't make calm choices and it's gonna overeat almost no matter what is in front of it. That's why I want you eating real meals and a real afternoon snack around 3 to 4 o'clock in the day. The second is leaning on starchy comfort foods at night, right? A big bowl of pasta or rice that feels soothing, it sounds soothing, maybe it's tied to something emotional from the past. But guys, if we really look at the metabolic consequence of this type of food, it spikes your blood sugar right as you're heading to bed. It doesn't actually serve you. It might sound like it does, but it doesn't. Hear my little voice in your ear when you go for that big bowl of pasta or rice or the Whopper or whatever it might be and be like, it's not serving you. It's time to let it go. You deserve more than that. We're gonna solve the high carby dense foods with cauliflower rice, with zucchini noodles. I know if you're watching this and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm Italian. My grandmother would roll over in her grave if she saw me eating zucchini noodles. I hear you, and that's okay for this moment. You're just gonna do that for this moment. The third thing is eating a heavy dinner really late, right? A lot of people say it doesn't matter when you eat calories throughout the day. You could eat them all right before bed. It's just the grand total. Research does show for a lot of people, everybody's different, but for most people, if you eat dinner right before, up until you go to bed, your body's busy digesting when it should be resting. And you're gonna find if you wear like an Oura ring or a tracker, that your REM sleep and your deep sleep will be reduced when you eat close to bedtime, and your heart rate will increase because your body's actually working, right? It's digesting. So you're gonna eat a little earlier when your life allows it, and your sleep and your morning is going to thank you. Okay, so you are gonna make sure that you eat these dinners just a little earlier in the evening when you can. Like, I would like for you to be done eating around 7:30 at night. You're gonna lead with your protein and your veggies and close your kitchen once dinner is done. You do not need to eat after dinner, and that's gonna be creating a strong environment around that, right? Your environment's always stronger than your willpower. I say that all the time to our clients at PhD Weight Loss. You're gonna pay attention to how you sleep, how you wake up, how your morning hunger changes after a few nights of these stable protein forward dinners. You're gonna start to feel different. And the body that wakes up steady instead of starving is the body that loses fat. A couple of small things before we leave that's gonna make this week even smoother for you. Stay hydrated through the day, drink your water, because thirst is constantly mistaken for hunger. You're gonna walk into dinner being properly hydrated. It's gonna help to keep your appetite more honest. And if you tend to feel a late evening urge to graze, you're gonna have a plan for that before it arrives. Remember, a cup of tea, you're gonna hear my little voice in there, a cup of tea, maybe a little bone broth. Hunger eats a hard-boiled egg. If you are truly, you're like, oh, it's 9 o'clock, I need some 10, 11, I really need something. You're gonna ask yourself, would I eat a hard-boiled egg right now? If so, eat 1 or 2 with some salt. That's fine. This is not about deprivation. You're simply deciding ahead of time while you're calm, instead of negotiating with yourself at 9 o'clock at night when your resolve is lowest. Usually if you are eating after dinner, especially if you're eating good meals throughout the day and you eat a good dinner like this, if you still eat a dinner like this and you are craving something after dinner, that food is trying to fill a void of something else, emotional, mental, habitual. And it has nothing to do with hunger at all. So you're gonna pay attention to that. Remember that dinner does not have to be the place that your day collapses. With a little structure, it becomes the place your body repairs. Your metabolism isn't broken. It's just waiting for you to give it the right inputs, and you just learned 7 of them. If you want to understand why belly fat in particular has been so stubborn, I encourage you to watch my video right here on how to lose the stubborn belly fat really fast. And I break it down into the 3 systems that are primarily driving belly fat storage. If this plan for dinner has helped you, I encourage you to subscribe above so that you do not miss another video. And remember, you've got to step up to make the change. Lead with your heart, train your mind, and listen to what your body already knows. I'll see you next time.